Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been an insanely long time. In fact, so long, the last video I posted was tillage and last spring getting ready to plant corn. And actually, we're getting ready to harvest that crop that we planted. But we have been busy on the farm, chopping silage, getting ready for harvest. And actually, we have something new here on the farm too. You can see behind me, I'm here at the grain site. If you caught it, I kind of alluded in a past video that we were going to be having something new out here. And actually, if you follow the AOK Farms Instagram, you've already seen this, but we put up a new grain bin. Here she is. It's 36 foot in diameter, 7 rings tall. It's a 25,000 bushel bin, which may not be real big to some people out there, but to us it's huge. This is gonna store mainly the corn that we are gonna harvest off of our irrigated ground. So yeah, we're super excited about this. Just to kind of show you how big this is compared to our other bins. Obviously, here's the new bin. This bin right here is our biggest bin that we had before today. It is 10,000 bushel. This bin right here is 5,000 bushel. So our new bin is 5 times the size of this bin. And then I'll go show you the very first grain bin Grandpa ever built, which is that bin right there. That bin's 3,000 bushel, and in the new bin, in the peak, so from where the roof and the top ring meet, coned up to the top, right up there, we can fit 3,000 bushel. So just in the very top of this bin, we can fit as much grain as what we used to fit in the very first bin that Grandpa ever built. So it is very exciting. I didn't get any footage of getting the bin up or getting delivered just because I was at school whenever all that happened, but I did get several pictures. We have just a few things that we want to do personally before the bin crew finishes up. So all the bin crew has left to finish up is this missing ring, or the missing section of the ring right here. And then, man, it's echoey in here. But then they're gonna put these floor supports in. They're gonna be lined up on these blue dashed lines across the floor. And then once they get those all lined up, they are going to come, and you can see in that pile over there, they're gonna put the false floor on top of that, or the aeration floor, so that the fan that we have on the outside of the bin can blow air through it and help dry out the corn. But before they do that, we have a couple things to do. One being, they used jacks on the inside of the bin to jack the bin up, and they left holes just like that one, which is fine, and I'm sure it would be fine, but just take the extra precaution. We're going to go ahead and fill those holes in with some hydraulic cement, just to make sure water can't get in those, and you know, we wouldn't want it to accidentally bust the concrete if the water froze. And then the one other thing we have to do is they put tar around the whole bottom of the bin and anywhere they cut a hole in the bin. And you can see right there, there's a little bit of daylight. So we're gonna put some more tar type stuff in there, and just try to make sure we don't get any water in the bottom of this grain bin. But other than that, you can see it's pretty big. This is the auger that'll auger the grain out. That's one feature we're really excited about, is all of our other bins only have 4 or 6 inch unload augers. This one has an 8, so that'll make unloading the bin a lot faster. And then another feature we're really excited about, like I mentioned just a minute ago, is this. This is a fan that'll blow air underneath that false floor. And it should work a lot better than our old style fans that we have in the older bins. So we're really thrilled about that. And then the one that we're most excited about is a power sweep. So basically, once you get the bin down to a certain level, it stops flowing into the auger that comes out the side of the bin right there by itself. So you either have to shovel it down to the center of the bin to get it to come out, or you can put in a sweep auger, kind of like this one, except you have to carry it in, carry it out. But with this one, it'll stay in the bin all the time, even whenever it's full of grain, so we don't have to carry it, sweep in or out. We don't have to get in other than just with a broom at the very end to broom out you know, a little bit of grain left on top of the floor. But it'll make our lives a lot easier. It'll make things a lot safer. We're not getting in there with grain inside the bin, and we're just really excited about this new bin. Here's that false floor that I was telling you about. So basically, the fan blows air underneath this floor, and in those little tiny holes, air blows up through that and blows air through the floor. So like I said, we're really excited about this bin, and can't wait to show you how it works. So let's get into finishing a few things up on this bin before the crew comes in and finishes it up tomorrow. Okay, so before we put hydraulic cement in those holes, I'm gonna take a little bit of air and blow all the little concrete dust and all that kind of junk out of the holes, so that hopefully we get them sealed up as good as possible. Should probably be wearing safety glasses, to be honest. A bunch of junk come out of them holes. Okay, you saw there, we got all the holes blown out. I hear Dad's been mixing up
a concoction. And I don't know if it's gonna work this way or not.
hydraulic cement and water. And what'd you put it in, a soap bottle?
Yeah. Not too runny.
The idea was to be able to squeeze it down into those holes. I guess he's having issues because it's setting up in the bottle too fast. So doing here. Maybe just pouring it in, he's thinking. We'll see. Okay, he just poured it in there out of the little ice cream bucket. Kind of shoved some down in the holes with my fingers, and he wiped it off with a rag. I think it turned out pretty good, at least better than what it would have been with open holes.
Should have gotten a 2-incher.
I think it looks pretty good.
It's not pretty, but
Wow.
it keeps the water out. It's not your only chance, but it's your best chance. Got anything else anywhere else?
I didn't see anything.
Because your next chance, you gotta take the floor up to get back to some of this stuff.
Yeah,
And who wants to do that?
nobody.
Nobody.
What he's sealing up around here is the hole that goes out to the fan on the outside of the bin that I showed you earlier.
Technically called the transition. Okay, muy bueno.
A feature on the inside of the bin I wanted to show you guys is right up there. It's hard to see. It goes up to the very top, hooks on up there. But it's a safety rope, so if you ever have to get inside the bin when it's full of grain, you can hook yourself to that so that if something would happen, you don't get sucked down into the grain. That's the idea, but on grain bins, and something we don't have a lot of on our older bins just because they're older, is safety stuff, but it's always a good idea to hook yourself to something and just be as safe as possible. Here in the bin, They got the floor put in. This right here on top of the concrete. And they got the power sweep in. So, let me get in there. Here on the floor, you can see those holes like I talked about. The air will blow through that, blow air up in the bin to help dry it out. And then right here is where the grain will flow out of. This is the power sweep, so once you get down to the very bottom of the bin, this will turn on. And this big wheel right here will turn all the way around the bin and auger all the grain up this way all the way to the center. So it's pretty exciting. Okay, so this lever here moves this gear, which pulls that connects to this rod. This rod is connected to the trap door inside the bin. So if I turn that, turn this all the way around, it pulls the lever out, and then same thing if I push it in or turn it in, it will close the door. Okay guys, it's been a few days, it's dried off, the bin is 100% complete, and I just want to take a little time here to go over some of the specs and some of the features on this bin, as well as show you and explain some of the features that are for user ease, user safety, but mostly a lot of the features that we have on this bin are a mix of both. You know, they make it easier for us to use, and they also make it a lot safer. So I guess I'll just start at the ground and work our way up. So the very first thing that ever happened was the concrete, obviously. It's a 2 foot wide hole by 2 foot deep, circle all the way around, and has rebar and concrete in it, and that's the footer. You can see it right here. Then on top of the ground is another 2 foot. They brought it in 2 foot forms, set them on top of that footer, and then they filled gravel in the center, but out here it's 2 foot thick where the bin actually sits on the pad, and then in the center it's a minimum of 8 inches. Some places are a little bit more. Then coming up here we have our auger. It's an 8-inch auger, just comes straight out. You can get the option of them tilting up, that's an extra U-joint, versus you can just pour your concrete a little bit thicker and taller, and then you never have to worry about a U-joint or anything like that giving out. Then once you start to go inside the bin, you have seen our floor. I can't remember the name of that flooring option, but it just has the holes and all of that. It allows the fan to blow in. So while we're speaking of the fan, let's go take a look at it. Okay, so here's the fan. It's a centrifugal fan ran by this electric motor right here. Comes up to this box, which has a bunch of switches and other stuff in it. There's your switch, on, off. Pretty simple. Not hooked up to power yet. Here's the other side. It sucks the air in here, and then this thing turns, and blows the air down through this, underneath the bin floor, and then it blows it through the holes, through the grain, and dries it out. Okay, now here's what's actually holding the bin to the concrete. It's just got these anchor bolts, which I wish I still had them here sitting out. They're really cool, just the way they work. I'd never seen an anchor bolt like that. But there's 3 per bin sheet, so 1, 2, 3, and then you see here's the seam to the next bin sheet. So 3 per bin sheet holding it on. It's fastened down a lot better than any of our older bins, so obviously it's a lot bigger, so it needs more to hold it to the concrete. Okay, now sitting on top of the bin floor is a power sweep. It's the Sukup Sweepway, which is just a model of their power sweep. And I believe this one actually, you can, if you ever wanted to, transfer it over to the paddle sweep. So you can take the auger off and it has paddles, and you don't even have to broom the floor if you have the paddles on it. But we just went with the auger. It's a little bit cheaper, not so much to it, and yeah, so that's what we have for the power sweep. We're excited about it. We've never had a power sweep. We've always had to get in the bin and, you know, do the shoveling and then carry the sweep in, and it's just a long process. It's not fun. Normally it always happens on the hottest day of the summer, and so it'll be easier now to do that. And quite frankly, that's one of those options. It's safer too. You don't have to climb in the bin on hot days. You don't have to inhale dust into our lungs. So that is one of those options, much safer. Okay, now sitting on the concrete as a whole is a 7-ring, 36-foot bin. That's kind of what you order, and then from that, all these other options I've already discussed, you can add on, switch them around. You don't necessarily have to have all of them. So yeah, that's the main structure. Okay, now here's the only thing on the bin that was not manufactured by Sukup. That is one of the reasons that we chose to go with a Sukup bin, is because they design and manufacture, produce every single thing on their grain bins. So if you need a part or anything like that, you're just going to your Sukup dealer direct. They're the same ones that manufacture it and build it and have engineered it. So it is a lot simpler, a lot easier with warranties and things like that, and overall just makes our life easier. But they do not manufacture their own steps or staircases. This is manufactured by Green Galvanized Stairways, I believe is their name. They're really strong, sturdy compared to some of the stairs that I've seen on other bins, but they seem really good, so we're excited with this. This is another one of those options. Not required. We can have a ladder that just comes to the top, but it's a lot safer, it's a lot easier, and it's just a lot nicer, makes everyone's life easier. Here we are at the eve of the bin. We got vents on the top for our fan. I believe there's like 7 of them. They are poly, so they're plastic instead of metal, but that's kind of not a concern necessarily, but something we were questioning whenever we bought the bin. But they seem really sturdy. I don't really know what else to say. They seem like they'll be fine. Now we're gonna crawl up to the top of the bin. Which may not be the safest thing to do with a camera in your hand, but I guess I'll do it for you guys. Okay, now here's the top lid. This is where we'll stick our auger in to fill the bin. It's just pretty simple. It's this little latch that you are supposed to be able to pull up. Okay, that was a little bit tight, but that's good. It's not gonna let the top come off. We'll open the lid now. Or I say we will. That's a really tight fit, but that's okay. So yeah, it won't let water in as tight as it is. So here is one of the next features. It's the spreader. So the grain will fall down into this funnel, then it will hit that cone shape, and it'll slide down off of that all the way around. That helps with the fines. So another one of those features, not necessarily required, but it's gonna make our life a lot easier. It's a long ways down there, but you can see the power sweep right there. And then right here is what I was trying to show you earlier in the video. It's this rope that I was talking about. It hooks up to this little pulley up here. So whenever you get into the bin, if you ever need to do that, you can hook it to yourself through a harness. That way, if any grain would happen to fall through or you would get sucked into the grain, there's a way to get you out quickly and easy. I'm not sure that's even an option on the bin. I think that's something Sukup puts on all their bins, no questions asked, which is great. I love to see companies that truly care about farmers and, in this case, our safety. Here we are from the very top. There's other grain bins. You can see almost everywhere, it feels like. It's really, really cool up here. And I can only imagine being on one of the really tall, big grain bins. Must be quite the sight. But we're really excited about this grain bin. I hope you learned something. Maybe if you guys are ever looking at putting in a grain bin, you kind of see some of the features here. One of the other features that I forgot about was we went with a farm bin. So Sukup has farm bins and commercial bins. The commercial bins have wind stiffeners on the side, and then the rings themselves are going to be a little bit thinner. To each their own, but we decided to go with the farm bin. I think maybe it was just a touch more expensive to go with the farm bin, but there's a lot less to them, and the side sheets themselves are going to be built heavier. Plus, you never have to worry about, you know, water and leaves and that kind of thing getting in between the stiffeners and the bin and rusting or something like that. However, once you get up to a certain size, they just all have the wind stiffeners. Just because they're so big, they have no other option. It wouldn't be practical to put a bin sheet, you know, like a 1/2 inch thick. That's just not practical. So thank you for watching the video. I encourage you to go check out a Sukup bin. We're very pleased with the dealership and how they helped us get the bin. They're reasonably priced for how heavy they seem to be built. And yeah, so thanks for watching the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.